go. It's 3 days to go. And you guessed it already, we are heavy on politics tonight. Last-minute campaigns are taking place across the country, and the Independent National Electoral Commission is set to discharge its duty. Land and sea borders are to close from midnight tonight. Everywhere, election fever is in the air, and that's how we start tonight's News Extra with me, Aisha Bello Mustafa. Thank you for joining us. 5 different groups of international observers have met with President Goodluck Jonathan towards a credible general elections devoid of violence in the country. The president, who had audience with the observer groups, reassured the international community and Nigerians that the elections will hold in the country as rescheduled by INEC. State House correspondent Segun Laoli reports.
The group of international observers include African Union, the Commonwealth, International Republican Institute, European Union, and the National Democratic Institute. Their interaction was basically to get a reassurance of a peaceful election and the commitment of the government and the political parties that are scheduled the elections will be free, fair, and credible. President Jonathan reassured the international community and indeed Nigerians that the atmosphere will be made conducive for a peaceful election, just as INEC says is working hard to ensure that its staffs conduct themselves properly during the general elections.
So I'll be happier to see a credible election appreciated by the world than anybody imagined as a president. Presidents will come and go. Even if I win the election, the next 4 years I will go. So,
leaders of international observer groups who took their turn to brief the president on the observations so far are all concerned about peaceful conduct before, during, and after the elections.
Well, Nigeria is a very important member of the Commonwealth. And therefore, that's why we have taken a keen interest, to come and observe these elections.
For all of us, where the peace and the stability and the progress of Nigeria benefits the entire region. We are highly encouraged by developments thus far, particularly the Abuja Accord.
President Jonathan also met with the National Peace Committee towards the 2015 general elections, led by General Abdulsalami Abubakar. During the closed-doors meeting, the committee underscored the sentiment and feelings of Nigerians, especially after the peace accord was signed by all candidates and political parties, which the committee reaffirmed must be respected by all parties involved in the forthcoming elections.
So we have come, one, to see Mr. President as the Commander-in-Chief of the country, to tell him what we have discussed with all the stakeholders and the role he as the Commander-in-Chief has to play. And also what we expect him as a contestant in this race. So this is what we have been here this afternoon. We have briefed him, and he has given us his assurance of conducting a free, fair, and peaceful election. And this is what this committee is all about. Tonight or tomorrow morning, we are also going to meet General Buhari for the same purpose, to get commitment, to ensure that the followers, the politicians, and indeed all Nigerians make sure that there is free, fair, and peaceful election.
The committee was set up to monitor and ensure the implementation of the Peace Pact by the stakeholders before, during, and after the elections. In the State House, Segun Laoli, NTA News.
In the meantime, President Goodluck Jonathan has approved the closure of all Nigeria's land and sea borders from 12 midnight Wednesday, the 25th of March, to 12 midnight Saturday, the 28th of March 2015, to allow for peaceful conduct of the forthcoming national elections. This is contained in a statement by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Interior. It says the Nigeria Immigration Service has also been directed to ensure that non-Nigerians do not participate in any part of the election processes. During his visit to Abia State, President Jonathan had also had some other engagements to express the need for votes for him during the presidential elections. Let's join Segun Lawole for the details.
The visit of President Jonathan to Abia State, and in particular Aba, the Enyimba city, will remain memorable in the minds of the people in one of the cities known for commerce, gave the president a rousing welcome as the president proceeded to the Aba Sports Club, where he had a robust interaction with the people.
So I plead with you to return all the PDP members who are contesting. That will help me. It will help budgeting. It will help me to deploy intervention funds to see how we will work with Ikweazu to develop Abia State and develop Aba.
Governor Theodore Hoji of Abia State and representatives of various groups, captains of industry and party leadership pledged their readiness to vote PDP in all the elections.
We want you to reassure our people here, reassure them because they have confidence in you, that one vote will not miss on Saturday.
The president later proceeded to Umuahia, where he had an interaction with leaders of thoughts from across Imo State, Christian community, women groups, and others. He also met with the Imo State Traditional Rulers Council, led by Eze Cletus Umuahia, who told the president that the state governor had threatened to dethrone any traditional ruler that met with President Jonathan during the visit.
Even opened invitations to other traditional rulers. But because of the announcement our governor was making that anybody who comes here will be dethroned, the council said, we are going to be here, let him dethrone all of us.
The baby that bites the finger or the breast of the mother will know what to do. I cannot dethrone you. People must know the limits of their powers. You don't stampede the traditional institution. You must revere the traditional institution. And that is why we believe in the report of the conference, the national conference. We are going to implement that report to the letter so that the traditional institution will be properly recognized.
From Umuahia, Imo State, Segun Lawole, NTA News.
The People's Democratic Party, PDP, says it has confidence that President Goodluck Jonathan will achieve victory at the March 28 presidential elections. National chairman of the party, Alhaji Adamu Ma'azu, said this at a media briefing in Abuja. Correspondent Kenneth Nanim reports.
Alhaji Muazu, represented by the National Publicity Secretary of the party, Olisameto, says PDP in the last 3 months has engaged in issue-based campaign, interfacing with Nigerians, canvassing votes for President Jonathan and other candidates of the party, especially at the grassroots. The national chairman noted that the developmental achievements of President Jonathan in every facet of the nation's life has raised him above his contenders and consequently generated an overwhelming support by Nigerians.
The result is a massive mobilization of millions of voters in strategic parts of the country, ready to cast their votes for the PDP. President Goodluck Jonathan has proven to be a man of very strong character and a brave leader, and it is certain that our nation will continue in the path of unity, stability, and prosperity under his leadership.
Assessing the confidence reposed on the INEC chairman to conduct a free, fair and credible elections, the national chairman of the PDP also enjoined all supporters of the party to abide by the electoral laws, ensuring that their votes count. The national chairman of the PDP expressed the hope that the integrity and track record of President Goodluck Jonathan and what he has achieved in the last 4 years of his administration will give him the desired victory come March 28. Meanwhile, politicians have been commenting ahead of the 2015 general elections.
The whole world is watching us, and I think it's high time that we have the best of the best of elections.
People have come to realize that it's not about party, it's about the individual, about the capacity of that person to deliver.
In Abuja, Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Oyo and Kano states were top over points for the PDP Women Campaign rally led by the country's First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan, who took time to appreciate the people of the states and Nigerian women for their support for President Goodluck Jonathan. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday tells us more.
The First Lady said President Jonathan will do more for women in the next 4 years. Hence, the need to re-elect him.
Today there is train. Yes, can we go back to where there is no train? Oh! Can we go back to where there is no woman in the cabinet? Oh! They did not give us universities as much as we needed. Can we go back to that era? Oh! Today is digital time. All your men, all your youths, all your women, the youth, you should know, if it's better for your mama, it will be better for you children. Brothers are my children and my sisters. Can we change from good to bad? Can we change from good to bad? Oh.
She emphasized the need for Nigeria's unity and commended President Jonathan for believing in Nigerian women's ability to contribute their quota to nation building.
They gave us powerful ministries. FCT, which is equivalent to states, we have it under us. Jimelke is in the city. Your daughter is one of them. Today, internationally, we are the first president. Today is our own. It's women. All your youths, all your men, all your women, I am appealing to you. Your mama is kneeling down. She's appealing to you. It's the time for you on Saturday. Come out in mass and vote your conscience. Come out in mass and vote for PDP. Come out in mass and vote Dr. Goodluck Jonathan.
FCT Minister of State, PDP governorship candidate of the state, and other speakers at the rally all encouraged the women to vote massively for the party to ensure its victory at the polls. Similarly, wife of the Vice President Amina Namadambo was in Kano State, Northwest Nigeria, to encourage the women to embrace continuity and vote President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan and Vice President Muhammad Namadi Sambo for a second term in office.
I thank you all for this large turnout, and I urge you to come out en masse on Saturday, 28 March, to vote Goodluck and Sambo for the consolidation of the transformation agenda gains.
She urged the people of Kano State to remain peaceful during and after the elections, while ensuring that they check the activities of their children and works. Adela Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
And with just few days to the commencement of the general elections, the Progressive People's Alliance has declared support for President Goodluck Jonathan's re-election bid. The party announced its decision Wednesday in Abuja. Chinedu Obike reports.
Coming just a few days to the presidential election in which Dr. Goodluck Jonathan is the prime actor, the endorsement of his candidature by the PPA is seen by many in this gathering as a boost to his re-election bid. The chairman of the Progressive People's Alliance, Chief Peter Ame, who announced the decision of the party's National Working Committee, said the endorsement of President Jonathan for the elections is based on his outstanding achievements and the need for continuity.
We will mobilize and instruct all our members nationwide to vote for his candidacy to ensure he returns to office come May 29, 2015, which is in the best interest of our people and country.
Responding to questions, Chief Ahmed said the party took his time to analyze the Nigerian situation before arriving at his decision, but stated firmly that his support for the president is without prejudice to candidates vying for other positions on the platform of the PPA. Other officers of the party also spoke on the development.
There's this tradition in this country that we lack continuity. And he who has started has begun a good work. He should come back and complete it.
And we believe that Jonathan's re-election will consolidate on the transformation agenda.
Newsmen from various media organizations attended the brief ceremony which took place at the party's headquarters in Abuja. Chinedu Obike, NTA News.
Meanwhile, more groups have continued to adopt and support President Goodluck Jonathan's re-election. The groups, in separate meetings, put aside all ethno-religious sentiments to seek for votes for President Jonathan. Ignatius Nkwo reports that the presidential candidate of the Citizens Popular Party has decided to step down.
These are foot soldiers of the PDP National Alliance Forum, who said they are moving into the states to mobilize 100% votes for President Jonathan.
A final push for Saturday to bring back President Ebele Goodluck Jonathan.
And I'm telling you, our candidate is a very marketable candidate.
The cost of transportation has drastically come down.
The Enugu indigents without border are right here in the FCT to stamp their support for President Goodluck Jonathan, Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu, and other PDP candidates in the forthcoming elections.
Really, we are supporting Mr. President, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan and his vice.
They should come and vote for the right person. Senator Ike Ekweremadu, he has done a lot, and Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi Gburugburu.
The Justice for Mandate Group, in collaboration with Youth Health and Social Reform Group, have called on Nigerians to resist any attempt to lure them to violence.
Politics is not a war. Politics is not religion.
The issues that plague Nigeria today, I believe, are not caused by the current dispensation.
In Abuja, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
All matters relating to the Buhari certificate case going on in the Federal High Court Abuja are now to be heard on the 22nd and 23rd of April. And when the hearing is conducted, it will be without the two parties that applied to be joined in the matter. This follows the ruling of Justice Adeni Ademola on Wednesday. Judiciary correspondent Femi Okewo has the details.
Meddlesome interlopers and busybodies, the court called these parties seeking to join in the Buhari certificate case. Harsh words you may say there, but that is because these parties did not just convince the court that they had any particular or significant interest in this matter. Chukwuma Ocho and Eboluwa Degorua had sought to join in the Buhari certificate eligibility case, but the court rejected their application.
The two applicants never had any interest in this case. They are not General Buhari, they are not contesting any election, they are not presidential candidates of any political party. They did not show that APC told them to come and help them. They did not tell the court that INEC told them to come and help them.
Well, the court has ruled that without us, the matter could be decided.
With that application done with, the court is now to hear the main issues in April. What are the implications of this date for the whole process?
Either before or after the election, you can take up that issue.
As a pre-election matter, the elections that come up on Saturday will not even affect it.
And for INEC, who were brought in as defendants in this matter, this is a time to remain focused on the task ahead.
As far as we're concerned, like I said in open court, that the commission has been working tirelessly to ensure it conducts an election.
In Abuja, Femi Okewo, NTA News.
The presidential candidate of Kowa Party, Professor Oluremi Shonaya, says the party will institute a Marshall Plan to reconstruct the Northeast geopolitical zone if voted into power in order to restore a dignified life to the people after the insurgency. She was addressing members of the party in Adamawa State at an interactive town hall session in Yola. Professor Shonaya, who is the only female presidential candidate contesting in Saturday's election, sympathized with the people in the states affected by insurgency, particularly the internally displaced persons. She promised Nigerians a good standard of living, including sound health care and economic management.
Let the people know that there is a party that wants to work for their well-being, that there is a party that is committed.
While introducing the party's presidential candidate, the national chairman of COA, Umar Mustafa, says Nigeria is ripe for a female president because of their natural inclination for peaceful coexistence. He also said that women have been proving their worth as a force to be reckoned with in both the public and private sectors, locally and internationally. Up ahead, situation reports on INEC's readiness for Saturday's elections. Join us again.
The highest performing president in the history of Nigeria. We appreciate and thank all these great and reasonable Nigerians for their support. Traditional rulers, the elderly, the youth, sports, Nollywood, physically challenged, women, farmers, business community, civil servants, drivers, Okada riders, market women, Christians, Muslims, professors, students, Nigerians in diaspora, and the international community. It is clear that all Nigerians who truly want to keep moving forward prefer Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. After all Goodluck Jonathan has accomplished as president, even if all you remember is his respect for your rights and freedom and fostering true democracy in Nigeria, this alone is priceless. The difference is clear as night and day. Thank you for your continued support and encouragement. God bless Nigeria. A message from Truth Never Dies.
Goodluck is the right man. He's fighting corruption.
No vacancy in Asoro.
Fertilizer now get to farmers easily, no problem.
Goodluck believe in education.
Business is booming. Thanks for Goodluck, Boko Haram is running now.
I'm voting Goodluck. I will vote for Goodluck again.
I'm happy to vote for Jonathan. I'm going to vote for Goodluck.
Your voice must be heard. Vote Goodluck.
We move forward, Nigeria.
See who want to be the president.
Question 1. What is the full meaning of APC?
All Progressive Confidence.
Sorry, but the correct answer is All Progressive Congress. What is the name of the current vice presidential candidate of the APC?
Professor Yemi Osunbade.
Wrong again. The answer is Professor Yemi Osinbajo. What is the full meaning of INEC?
Independent Nigerian Electoral Commission.
The answer is Independent National Electoral Commission. Please try again some other time. Thank you.
For a vibrant president with the intellectual capacity to handle governance of the 21st century, choose wisely. Vote Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, the consensus choice for Nigeria.
In 2011, General Buhari chose a pastor, Tunde Bakari, to be his running mate. However, he had a plan.
And it was not stepping down that was the issue. It was resigning on paper with my signature to sign as Vice President of Nigeria. And I said, no, I can't do that. I can resign as Tunde Bakari, a candidate, but I can't resign as Vice President, office that I've not occupied. That is illegal.
Are you saying they were willing to allow your name to go forward in the polls, and then they expected that once you'd won the elections, you would resign as Vice President?
That was what they were asking for, but I was not ready to commit perjury.
Now, in 2015, 4 years later, how can a self-proclaimed Mr. Change choose to use a man to get his people vote and ask him to break the law by committing perjury? Nigerians, refuse to be used in doubt. Vote a leader you can trust. Vote Goodluck Jonathan. This message is brought to you by Move On Nigeria.
No matter our ambitions, we should not sacrifice the life of Nigerians. Nobody's ambition is to wash the blood of any Nigerian.
Don't shed no blood for me. Don't kill no one for me. Don't fight no one for me. Let my work speak for me. Nigeria is bigger than any man. It's bigger than any party. Don't kill for anyone. Nobody's this ambition is worth the blood of a Nigerian. If we kill ourselves, we'll have no nation to call our own. Don't shed no blood for me. Don't kill no one for me. Don't fight no one for me. Just pick your card and vote for me.
God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Elections 2015.
The Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room.
The platform of organizations working to improve the electoral process and make votes count.
Are you a voter?
Are you an observer?
Do you have accurate information that could help improve the sanctity of the election process?
Please forward your reports, incidents, and observations to Situation Room.
Situation Room will be pleased to receive your reports and provide accurate, unbiased analysis on the Presidential and National Assembly elections holding March 28 and the governorship and state assembly elections holding April 11.
Situation Room hotline
0909 5050505, 0903 299 9919, 0703 3333715.
Email
situationroom@placng.org.
Website
www.situationroom.placng.org.
Be a part of it.
Many people ask me, why am I running for office again? And I ask them, what has changed since I began this mission? Can you honestly, truly say that our country has changed for the better? Is the naira in your bank account of greater value today than it was 4 years ago? How can we allow the cowards of Boko Haram take over any part of this country, a sovereign state? How can the young people die looking for a job in Abuja and justice is not met? What is going on here in this our country? Allow me to prove to you that in your lifetime, you and your children can be proud of this country.
Honorable Minister of Petroleum Resources, Mrs. Desani Alison Madweke, CON, presents the official groundbreaking ceremony of the gas industrial city, Ogidigbe, and the deep sea port, Baramoto, Delta State, Nigeria, by His Excellency, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, GCFR, President, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Date, Thursday, 26 March 2015. Venue, project site, Delta State, Nigeria. Time, 11 a.m. Logistics arrangements are in place to convey guests to and from the event venue. All guests must be seated by 10 a.m.
The good luck time. Mama, Papa, make we use the good luck time. Brother, sister, make we use the good luck time. Jonathan are the way forward. Everybody, make we use the good luck time. Mama, Papa, make we use the good luck time. Brother, sister, make we use the good luck time. Jonathan are the way forward. PDP na the #1 party. Oh, yes. Good luck, Jonathan. Now I'm man, yo, president. For better things to the flow for our country, brother. Your good luck time for agricultural advancement, economic growth.
March 28th, vote PDP, vote good luck.
Thank you for being there. Nigerians are advised against electoral malpractices as the law will not spare any offender. Talatu Ezerike reports that this is the standpoint of discussants on NTA's Current Affairs program, Tuesday Live. Take a look.
General of Police say that all is set in the areas of security for the 2015 elections. He strongly stands his grounds on electorates not being allowed to wait at the polling centres after voting, as this, he said, could spark violence. The Inspector General was quick to warn against electoral malpractices.
He took time to sensitize the officers on their roles and to appreciate the provisions of the laws. So if any officer is involved in misconduct, report him.
We must start preparing our mind that it's not by killing the opponent that you become what you want to be.
For the Independent Electoral Commission, the 2015 elections will be free, fair and credible, as likely areas of fraud have been blocked with the introduction of the electronic card reader machine.
What the Commission has always appealed for is where you have isolated cases, we also need understanding. Because what can you do if people were transporting materials somewhere and the vehicle breaks down on the road?
They appealed to politicians to keep up with their peace accord and assured that Nigeria will emerge stronger and better after the elections. Talat Izarike, NTA News.
The Inspector General of Police, Suleiman Abba, has warned police officers and men detailed for the Saturday elections to ensure they work in line with the Police Code of Ethics and international best practices, calling on them to display unflinching loyalty to the federal government. The Inspector General of Police stated this after meeting with commanders of police mobile force squadrons, counter-terrorism and special protection units at the force headquarters in Abuja. In a statement by the police public relations officer, Emmanuel Ojukwu, the IGP warned police officers to be firm, meticulous and ensure that nothing goes wrong in their areas of jurisdiction during the elections. The Inspector General of Police restated that there would be restriction of vehicular movement from 8 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the evening. He further warned that presence of uniformed private and government security agencies, Boy Scout, vigilante groups, Boys Brigade, peace ambassadors, man o' war would not be tolerated around the polling units. The Director of Media PDP Presidential Campaign Organization, Femi Fani-Kayode, has been speaking to journalists on the activities of INEC as elections draw nearer. He expressed displeasure on some of the plans of INEC and recommended that the Commission should produce a master encryption and decryption key for the permanent voter cards.
INEC should be officially requested to immediately produce a copy of any security audit report independently authored by a reputable and certified third party before it has the opportunity to cover up this monumental act of negligence. If INEC fails to produce a satisfactory security audit report, then it should be compelled to conduct a fresh security audit of its entire IT infrastructure, which can even be extended to its production/manufacturing facilities in China. Indeed, the only other copy of the master encryption-decryption key is in the possession of the Chinese manufacturers. This process of auditing cannot possibly be completed before the general elections.
Femi Fani-Kayode, Director, Media and Publicity of the PDP Presidential Campaign Organization there. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says it has received all the necessary materials for the conduct of the elections on Saturday. The resident electoral commissioner for Lagos State, Akin Orebi, disclosed this at a stakeholders forum in Lagos. Tunde Saiki reports.
That was a practical demonstration of the use of the smart card reader to be used during the forthcoming elections. This was at the Stakeholders Forum organized by INEC to resensitize stakeholders and inform them of their readiness to conduct elections. The resident electoral commissioner for Lagos State, Akin Orebi, used the occasion to trash out issues concerning the process of accreditation, voting processes, conducts by both officials of INEC party agents and eligible voters during and after the exercise.
We've got full complement that we require on election day. As for the sensitive materials, that is the ballot papers as well as the result sheets, we've also, at the moment, we are taking receipt of them at the Central Bank of Nigeria.
The issue of security of electoral materials and safety of the electorate was also discussed.
We are saying that you don't have to be unruly. You just, if you conduct yourself, you don't have any issue with us.
The Stakeholders Forum had in attendance the heads of the various security agencies in the state, traditional rulers, religious leaders, party candidates, and election monitoring officials. In Lagos, Tunde Saiki, NTA News.
We move on to Benue State, where the Independent National Electoral Commission there has taken delivery of sensitive materials preparatory to the presidential and National Assembly elections slated for Saturday this week and next week. Tena Omar, who was at the INEC office in Makurdi, reports that the distribution of the materials has commenced.
The premises of the INEC head office in Makurdi was under tight security as vehicles and persons were thoroughly screened by the security personnel on ground before allowed entry into the premises. INEC electoral officers were busy collecting sensitive materials for onward distribution to the 23 local government areas of the state. The head of Department Voter Education and Publicity at the INEC office in Makurdi, Mr. Godwin Abari, says the sensitive materials are enough to cover the 278 council wards and all the polling units within the state. He says the early distribution is to ensure the smooth takeoff of the exercise on Saturday.
Everything is in top form. We are very ready for the election.
It shows that the INEC are trying to live up to their responsibilities. And we believe that if we continue in this trend, then nobody will criticize them.
Already, the non-sensitive materials have been distributed to the 23 local government areas of the state. The collaborative efforts amongst security agencies and the Independent National Electoral Commission is geared towards ensuring a peaceful and credible election come this Saturday. From the INEC head office here in Makurdi, I am Tena Omar, NTA News.
In another development, the Nasarawa state government has declared Friday this week as public holiday to enable people travel to their various destinations for the elections. Correspondent Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that this was disclosed at an interactive session with organized labor.
Governor Moru Tanko Al-Maukura made the declaration in an interactive parley with leaders of organized labor in the state, where he described the Saturday's poll as very crucial in the democratic process of the state and the country. The governor, who was impressed by the large turnout of union leaders, said,
"By the special grace of God, when we come back by May, we will look inwards how we will sustain this welfare of members of labor."
The governor appealed to organized labor leaders to close ranks with critical stakeholders in redefining government policies and programs for the upliftment of the state and the country. In Lafia, I am Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
And a few days to the general elections, political analysts are optimistic that all shall be well, but this will depend on how well stakeholders play their roles at the polls. Joy Uzo reports that discussants on NTA's breakfast program Good Morning Nigeria gave the assurance while advancing their positions.
With less than 78 hours to the long-awaited 2015 general elections, stakeholders assessed the level of preparedness for the exercise with an appeal to Nigerians to conduct themselves within the limits of the law. Citing antecedents in the country, they believe Nigeria is ready for the election. INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner for Enugu State, Professor Eze Onukaogu, and the Commissioner for Information in Taraba State, Emmanuel Bello, gave an update on the situation in their areas.
When I came here, the distribution in January, the distribution rate of the permanent voters card was 54%. Now we have hit 89%.
Taraba is at this moment the most peaceful state in the country. in the sense that both the political actors and both candidates and those who want to bring them in are all in agreement to see that the polls are very peaceful.
In achieving the much desired free, fair and credible polls, the discussants enumerated some bridges that should not be violated by the electorates, candidates, political parties and other stakeholders that will help attain success.
Section 135 of the Electoral Act states clearly, it says any person who at an election acts or incites others to act in a disorderly manner commits an offense.
It's important that the EMB, that's the Electoral Management Body, conduct themselves in a manner, in a very professional manner. Come there on time. First, the suspicion comes when you come very late. People think that there is something in the offing and fishy.
In Abuja, Joy Uzo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Nigerians have been enjoined to re-elect President Jonathan to sustain the gains of the transformation agenda and his outstanding performances. Governor Ayodele Fayose made the plea during his campaigns in some local government areas of Ekiti State. Samuel Johnson reports that the Minister of State for Works also mobilized his senatorial zone for the victory of the president.
Governor Fayose, who took the mobilization to major markets in the state capital, urged eligible voters in Ekiti State to cast their votes for President Goodluck Jonathan and all PDP candidates in the elections. He noted that re-electing President Jonathan will consolidate the achievements so far recorded through the transformation agenda to rank Nigeria among the first 20 economies in the world. Minister of State for Works, Prince Adedayo Adeyeye, also galvanized support for President Jonathan in the Ekiti South Senatorial District, where some politicians from other political parties defected to the PDP, citing the quality leadership of President Jonathan, among others, as reasons. The minister assured the new members of Equal Opportunities and promised that more developmental programs will be delivered by the PDP when the president is re-elected in the forthcoming elections. In Ado-Ekiti, Samuel Johnson, NTA News.
We're sorry for the loss of sound in some parts of that report. Now, outlining some of the developmental strides of the present administration to the northern part of the country, the Minister of Science and Technology, Abdu Bulama, says that in the last 5 years, President Goodluck Jonathan has attracted 32 major projects in Yobe State. The minister was speaking when he paid a courtesy call in company of Northern Youth Stakeholders Forum to the former Federal Commissioner of Information, Edwin Clark, in Abuja. Ifanyi Ezumba has the details.
The minister also said that some of the projects will touch the lives of the people in time to come.
A program of transformation agenda that focuses attention on youth employment, empowerment, economic growth and development.
The Northern Youth Stakeholders Forum, cut across 19 northern states, told Chief Clark that the forum have adopted President Jonathan for second term in office.
The President has done enough for our region. We can count now the universities in all the northern states of Nigeria, elementary schools in all the northern states, power stations, road network.
Chief Clark describes their visit as special because it is the first time men and women from the 19 northern states and a minister of the federal government-led delegation to pledge their support for President Jonathan.
So I'm very, very happy. I was told that the mention Abuja to give their support to Mr. President. As I said, we are one. Nobody should divide us. Politicians will come and go. Nigeria will remain.
The Northern Youth Stakeholders Forum has resolved to re-elect President Goodluck Jonathan come 28 March 2015, while emphasizing their commitment to canvass vote for President Jonathan, in whom they believe the future of the youth is guaranteed. In Abuja, Ifanyi Ezumba, NTA.
In the meantime, Senate leader Victor Ndoma Egba has urged the people of Cross River State and Nigerians to vote for President Jonathan and Vice President Namadi Sambo based on verifiable achievements. The Senate leader, who represents Cross River Central, urges his kinsmen not to be deceived by fake promises. He said the people should consider the president's achievements and his proven democratic disposition and credentials and not allow themselves to be tempted by unverifiable and untenable promises of change. The Buhari Support Organization has unveiled an information technology platform for violence-free and fair 2015 elections. Correspondent Anthony Forson reports that spokesman for the organization, Dr. Chidia Maduekwe, said this at a media briefing in Abuja.
Dr. Chidia Maduekwe said, in pursuant of the Abuja Peace Accord, the Buhari Support Organization has sustained the training of its members on how best to conduct themselves peacefully before, during, and after the elections.
The operational BSO tech platform is a step further in this direction. It will contribute in no small measure in assisting us achieve the set objectives and goals of the Peace Accord. This press briefing is aimed at reassuring our teaming members that there is no cause for alarm.
The organization also received into its fold some PDP youth support groups.
I remain Comrade Mohamed Buhari Bugema, Northeast Coordinator, Amalgamated Northern Youth for PDP. On behalf of members of the Northeast Amalgamated Northern Youth for PDP, we have decided to come and come back to the APC and help the general achieve his election.
In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Up ahead is business news plus federal government to simplify taxation. Do stay with News Extra for the details.
Mind with verve and vision to attract foreign investments worth $7 billion in 2013, making Nigeria the #1 investment destination in Africa. It takes a great mind with compassion and humility to set aside $1 billion in a sovereign wealth fund as savings for future Nigerians. Indeed, it takes a great mind with courage and knowledge to lift a rebased GDP of $169 billion in 2009 to over $500 billion in 2014, making Nigeria's economy the biggest in Africa. It takes a good luck, Ebele Jonathan.
Good people of Nigeria. During the general elections, accreditation of voters will take place in all polling units from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Card readers will be used to verify the permanent voters card presented by each voter. Names of voters who pass the verification by the card reader will be checked in the voters register and duly accredited. Voting will commence at 1:30 p.m. till the last person on the queue has voted. Do not come to the polling unit with another person's voter's card. Keep away from the polling unit if you do not have a permanent voter's card. This message is from the Independent National Electoral Commission,
supported by the European Union through the UNDP Democratic Governance for Development DGD2 project. I'm making your vote count, consolidating our democracy.
We go follow the man where they support women. Good luck, Jonathan. The man where no they take women and you to play. Good luck, Jonathan. He makes us deputy governors. Correct. Women ambassadors. Good luck, Jonathan. He makes women ministers. Supports rural women. Good luck, Jonathan. He gives us big positions. He not talk say we be women. Good luck, Jonathan. We go follow the man where they respect women. Good luck, Jonathan. Correct.
Nigerian women, make all
all of us join hands, vote for Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Because of tomorrow, make we not sell our future. Vote peacefully. This man a peaceful man.
This message is brought to you by Directorate of Media and Publicity, PDP Presidential Campaign Organization.
The Minister, Federal Minister of Education, Malam Ibrahim Shekarau, cordially invites the general public to the national flag-off of the distribution of instructional materials for basic education institutions in Nigeria by His Excellency Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, GCFR, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Date 26th March 2015. Venue Fatima Shema Girls Science Primary School off Olusegun Obasanjo Drive, GRA, Katsina. Time 10 a.m. prompt. Education for all is the responsibility of all.
Our advice to our people is for all of them to come out nice and vote for the candidate of their choice. And whatever result announced, we expect our people to be calm and accept the results of the election. If they are agreed, let them follow the proper channel to address their complaint instead of taking the law into their hands.
This message is from Sir Ahmad Bello Foundation.
The new Partnership for Africa's Development, NEPAD, is a pledge by African leaders to improve governance and eradicate poverty. NEPAD Nigeria commends President Goodluck Jonathan for transforming the economy in tandem with NEPAD mandate and its flagship program, African Peer Review Mechanism, APRM, by implementing 35% affirmative action, SURE-P, graduate internship scheme, GWIN program, girl child education, elementary schools, 14 new federal universities, improved rice and cassava production, committed to implementation of NEPAD's regional programs, Great Green Wall, Trans-Saharan Gas Pipeline, Lagos Abuja Expressway, fiber optic network, reviving automobile industry, local content policy in oil and gas, transformation agenda in health, power, road, railway, and aviation. Transformation agenda, achieving the NEPAD mandate. This message is from NEPAD Nigeria, advocate of good governance.
Thank you for being there. Government begins a public-private partnership to protect consumers as some young professionals express their expectations from President Goodluck Jonathan ahead of the forthcoming general elections. Abdullahi Muhammad has details on our business news segment.
A warm welcome to Business News and thanks for joining us. As political parties round off campaigns to woo their electorates, some young professionals have emphasized the need for government to pursue programs that will promote small businesses in the country. This was at an interactive forum between President Goodluck Jonathan and some young professionals in Lagos.
We must work hard, reposition this country, encourage the young people so that in their days, Nigeria will maybe be a better country. For this evening, we've listened to you, those of you who physically appeared here, and those of you who use technology to communicate with us. Listening to you give us hope in sports and other aspects of the entertainment industry. What we can assure you is that we'll never go backward. We'll continue to encourage you.
While acknowledging the present administration's achievements in critical sectors of the economy, they urged the president, if re-elected, to tackle the problems militating against the development of the power sector.
The beautiful thing about President Jonathan is that he's for the youth. Mr. President empowered a lot of youth through maritime and so on and so forth. So we're happy about it.
A strategic partnership aimed at protecting consumers in the country has commenced. The Director General of the Consumer Protection Council, Dupe Atoki, told NTA Business News that this is between government and the organized private sector. She explained that the partnership aims at promoting made-in-Nigeria products.
And in ensuring that consumers themselves know the products to buy and also work with the manufacturers in areas of proper collaboration to bring satisfaction to consumers.
And that Business News tonight. Thanks for being part of it. The news continues shortly.
Thank you, Abdullahi. The Delta State Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency has continued with the due diligence, due process, monitoring and evaluation of projects and enterprises under the Central Bank of Nigeria Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Fund. Amezi Igabo Anyaro takes us through the journey so far.
The Central Bank of Nigeria Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Fund was officially rolled out on November 17, 2014 in Asaba, Delta State. The governor of the state, Dr. Emmanuel Udwa, immediately wrote off the interest rate. During the launch, the governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, commended the state government on its laudable achievements in micro, small and medium enterprises development. In continuation of its due process, due diligence, monitoring and evaluation of the clients, some sites were visited.
I'm aspiring to become an integrated farmer. Fishery, piggery, poultry and vegetables.
Malaysia is producing quantity, but I claim I will produce quality type.
We make the money and we return the money little by little. And we go to train our children, we go there fine in our community.
I will encourage all graduates to do that, go to business, don't need for sitting down looking for white collar job.
We produce at a very high speed. For instance, in a week we make up to 3,000 sportswear.
They take the money, they hire land, with the plants, they root, they fly.
The Commissioner for Poverty Alleviation and Executive Secretary of the agency, Dr. Antonia Ashedu, expressed happiness at the way Central Bank of Nigeria MSMEs Fund is stimulating the economy of the country.
One thing the CBN Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Fund has done, it has helped a great deal in easing unemployment in Nigeria. It has also made entrepreneurship something to be desired by our people.
Dr. Shedu stated that over 2,381 persons have been empowered.
Taxation is globally recognized as the only practical source of sustainable revenue to finance government spending. Statistics indicate that Nigeria has one of the lowest revenue to GDP ratios in the world. This is why the Federal Inland Revenue Service is simplifying tax payment processes to improve revenue generation. Correspondent Bosede Adebayo has the details.
Nigeria's rebased gross domestic product in 2014 indicates that tax to GDP ratio declined from 12 to 8% compared to the global benchmark of at least 20%. With a new helmsman at the Federal Inland Revenue Service, the task is to address the challenges of tax evasion, multiple taxation, and tax disincentives. At a meeting with news editors in Abuja, the acting executive chairman, Mr. Samuel Ogungbeson, said the agency will continue to modernize tax administration and embrace best practices with a view to improving revenue generation, but promises tough time for tax evaders.
People are paying and you're enjoying the benefits of their tax payment. Why shouldn't you pay? That's the message. But let's talk together. Let's do a lot of engagement.
With over 30 years' experience in tax administration and the recent certification of the Federal Inland Revenue Service by the International Organization for Standardization for Customer Service, expectations are high that tax administration in Nigeria will compare favorably with any around the world.
Providing sustainable revenue to fund the aspirations of government is the target of the Federal Inland Revenue Service. And the new executive chairman says this can only be achieved through meaningful engagement and collaboration with stakeholders to change the face of taxation in Nigeria. From the Federal Inland Revenue Service headquarters in Abuja, Bosede Adebayo, NT News.
To energy matters now, the local content policy of the federal government has received a boost with the handing over of Shell's equity in OML 29 to a local oil and gas firm, ITO, which is increasing the population of indigenous companies in the upstream of the oil and gas industry. Speaking at the MOU ceremony between Shell and ITO, the Group Managing Director of the NNPC, Dr. Joseph Doha, described the event as a milestone in the quest to develop the capacity of Nigerians to play leading roles in every area of the oil and gas sector, as encapsulated in the Nigerian Content Development Act. Also speaking at the occasion, the Managing Director of the Shell Petroleum Development Company and Country Chair of Shell Companies in Nigeria, Mr. Osaige Okumbo, described the event as a major step towards the fulfillment of the nation's aspiration of growing indigenous population in the upstream sector of the oil and gas industry. He described OML 29 as one of the biggest onshore oil block that Shell has ever divested in the country. The Shell boss, who put the value of the oil block at $2.56 billion, also disclosed that it has an average production capacity of 43,000 barrels per day, with a potential to grow beyond its current capacity in the nearest future. In his remarks, Chairman of ITO Group, Benedict Peters, described the ceremony as a significant landmark that will help the company achieve its aspiration of participating in the entire value chain of the oil and gas industry. And as part of its corporate social responsibility, Star Deepwater Petroleum Nigeria Limited, a Chevron company with its Agbami co-venture, has handed over a chest clinic and social science laboratory complex to 2 states in Nigeria. The donations are to enable Nigerians have access to quality and education, quality health and education facilities, I beg your pardon, thereby helping the federal government achieve its MDG goals. Correspondent Dennis Adegunloye tells us more.
The Agbami co-ventures with Star Deepwater Petroleum Nigeria Limited are the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC), Famfa Oil Limited, Statoil Nigeria Limited, and Petroleo Brasileiro Nigeria Limited. The fully equipped chest clinic is situated at the General Hospital, Rimi, Katsina State. On behalf of Star Deepwater Petroleum Nigeria Limited, Director, Government Affairs, Chevron Nigeria Limited, Senator Gbenga Aluko, listed the clinic's modern equipment and benefits to the society. Permanent Secretary, Katsina State Ministry of Health, Dr. Mohammed Kabashiru, on behalf of the Katsina State government, noted how the establishment of the clinic will ease treatment of indigents.
We have about 7 patients currently on treatment outside Katsina State. However, with this center now, we can conveniently and confidently and efficiently manage them in Katsina.
Senator Gbenga Aluko, in a symbolic gesture, handed the keys of the clinic to the Permanent Secretary. The other state to benefit from the Agbami Co-Ventures initiative is Niger State, which has received a science laboratory complex for the 3 major sciences and fully equipped with modern apparatus to ensure a conducive environment for teaching and learning. Mr. Samuel Otuonye, on behalf of Star Deepwater, noted the benefits of the laboratory. Niger State Commissioner for Education, Danladi Umar Abdulhamid, was gracious to the co-venturers for the initiative.
And today we have partners that have decided to come together to assist not only government but to humanity.
The strategic intervention by the Agbami Group in the areas of health and education is distributed throughout Nigeria, and so far over 10 chest clinics and 20 science laboratory complexes have been donated across the country. In Abuja, Dennis Adegunle, NTA News.
The Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs has commissioned its first project since its inception in 2008. Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Stephen Oru, says the housing units will be allocated to disadvantaged groups in the benefiting communities and environment. Isaac Nkuma tells us more.
Comprising 40 units of 2- and 3-bedroom bungalows, the houses will serve as palliative measure to shelter people of the Niger Delta displaced during communal clashes, youth restiveness, as well as those directly affected by oil exploration activities in the region. Commissioning the house.
It's not easy or common in any community for Niger Delta to choose my community to come and site this estate. God, Almighty God, will pay them back.
The minister also inspected work on the 35.718-kilometer reconstruction of Owerri-Elele Road and the 30-kilometer Abombise Ring Road projects, which the contractors say has reached 75% and 50% completion levels, respectively, with a completion date of July 2016. Isaac Nkuma, NTA News.
The Zaria-Funtua-Gusau-Kaura Namoda railway line, which has been abandoned for over 2 decades now, has been reactivated by the federal government. Minister of State for Finance, Ambassador Bashir Yuguda, performed the activation ceremony on behalf of Vice President Muhammad Namadi Sambo. Anas Sani Anka has the details.
The 231 kilometers Zaria-Funtua-Gusau-Kaura Namoda railway line, which serves as a means of transporting agricultural products in the past, has been dormant for over 2 decades. The revitalization of the railway line is part of the transformation agenda of President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, aimed at enhancing socio-economic activities in the state and country at large. Vice President Architect Muhammad Namadi Sambo, represented by the Minister of State for Finance, Ambassador Bashir Yuguda, described the development as another milestone in the present administration transformation drive aimed at enhancing service delivery to the people.
Mr. President has been talking about the transformation agenda, and the whole idea of transformation agenda is service delivery to people.
The representative of the chairman of Nigerian Railway Corporation, Alhaji Umar Liman Suru, and that of Minister of Transportation Alhaji Sambo Bashir, said the railway, which is the alternative means of transportation, is expected to reduce the use of land in transporting goods across the country. Some citizens of the state described the development as a very good step in ensuring sustainable transformation agenda in the transport sector. In Gusau, Anasana Anka, NTA News.
Still to come, NLC sets up Reconciliation Committee to reconcile all factions. Join us again for the details.
Every patriotic Nigerian, I'm truly worried for my country. Intelligence reveals that whichever party that wins the 2015 presidential polls, crises are almost guaranteed. My stance is this: whose victory will guarantee less havoc for Nigeria? The recommendations of the National Confab will be implemented. The militancy in the Niger Delta region will not resume, which otherwise will cost Nigeria's crude oil production, revenue, naira value, and even foreign investors to plunge drastically. There will also be poor funding of all aspects of Nigeria's economy, leading to less employment platforms for Nigerian youths, mass sacking of government workers, closures.
She's from heaven. Wait.
Calm down first now.
Wait.
Sea level. She come on. Sure. So
Hey. Yepa.
It don't happen. Sure. So is this for real? So our package is baby the package for us. This change now chance.
This message is brought to you by Move On Nigeria.
On the 1st of April 1930, the Nigerian police force came into existence with the primary and constitutional responsibility to enforce the law, preserve peace, and provide for a safe environment. Yes, the 2015 general election is here again. Don't panic, Nigerians. The electoral technocrat in person of IGP Suleiman Abba.
The 2015 general elections, I assure you all, will be one of the most peacefully conducted.
With his strategic team of indomitable and ever-resilient men of the Nigerian police force, in collaboration with various security agencies, are set for a violence-free poll with all sense of professionalism. Today, we are better equipped, better motivated to make your vote count. Fear not. Remain wherever you are. Play your part by coming out to vote. Leave the rest as we ensure your vote must count. Remember, the police is your friend. This message is from the Nigerian Police Force, NPF.
Did you know that the Nigeria Education Intervention Project through the Universal Basic Education Commission (UBE) has taken a giant leap under President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan? The education sector has never had it better in the 6 geopolitical zones. The Jonathan's administration has established Almajiri schools, boy-child vocational centers, girl-child model school, e-libraries in federal unity schools. That is not all. Special needs education schools in private and public schools. 126.5 million textbooks and library materials have been provided. The education sector has never had it so good. What more can we ask for? Support Goodluck Sambo transformation agenda for a better Nigeria. This message is from the Universal Basic Education Commission.
Dear Nigerians, elections come and go. Nigeria will remain united and indivisible. We are a nation destined for greatness. No matter your tribe or religion, put Nigeria first. Anytime, anywhere. We are one big family. Violence destroys. Peace unites. Let's keep the flag of Nigeria flying. This message is brought to you courtesy National Council for Arts and Culture, United Nations Development Programme, European Union, and Independent National Electoral Commission.
Terrorizing Nigerians since before Goodluck Jonathan's presidency. Thousands of innocent lives lost and billions of naira in properties destroyed. Buhari claims he can stop them within a few weeks.
He is a member of the Council of State of the nation.
In all these years of Boko Haram's brutality, he has not offered one suggestion to the Security Council or to Nigerians on how to stop them.
Boko Haram was an achievement would be a achievement of the past.
If he knows how to stop Boko Haram, why hasn't he already done so? Must you be president before you help your own country? Buhari, where is your love for Nigeria? If we can't trust you to put Nigeria first, how can we trust you with Nigeria?
We are ready to take off on the path of sustained growth and economic development.
National infrastructure remains a core element of our transformation agenda.
National access and critical infrastructure.
On the march again, NSCDC is mandated to serve you for a better Nigeria. We are your grassroots partners in the brotherhood of prosperity as we prepare for the forthcoming elections. Do not mar the electoral process by allowing yourself to be used for public disturbance, to destroy public, private, or government property, including ballot papers, ballot boxes, polling booths, INEC offices, and collating centers. Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, canvasses for a violent free election. Think Nigeria positively. Speak Nigeria positively.
Lives and nation's infrastructure.
Thank you for being there. The House-to-House Support Initiative for Goodluck 2015 has continued to sensitize the electorate on the need to re-elect President Goodluck Jonathan into office come Saturday. Correspondent Kene Emma Abodike monitored the group's roadshow in Abuja Wednesday.
A traditional style of teamwork and outreach. Over 2,000 members of the support initiative converged on the Berger Junction to further orchestrate the basic reasons why President Jonathan should be voted en masse. Some of them who spoke to NTG News emphasized that the sustenance of continuity in governance will guarantee the integration of the present administration's agenda of national transformation.
Our amiable president has caused a march that never was. He has broken the records of all successes of all the presidents that have witnessed governance in Nigeria. And we believe this is the time that we have to support him again, so that we see him in governance and we move Nigeria forward.
What we are telling Nigerians today is that there is no alternative to Jonathan this Saturday. There is no alternative 1, no 2, no 3, no till 10. Jonathan is the only president that will serve this country that will continue what he's doing. There's no alternative.
Saturday
is our day. The mothers of Nigeria, since Jonathan has recognized us beyond what any president could do, we are going to vote for him en masse. Abinabi, sir.
The Red Show covered Berger Junction to Otako and back. The organizers hope to stage its grand finale in Kano Thursday, just as its branch in the United Kingdom wraps up the move same day. In Abuja, Keneyima Burike, NTA News.
The National Administrative Council of the Nigeria Labour Congress has set up an 8-man committee to reconcile all factions arising from the just concluded elections of the NLC. Correspondent Emmanuel Ayimiro reports that the committee was set up in Abuja.
The newly elected executive members of the NLC, headed by their president, Comrade Ayuba Wava, together with the elders of the union, said the reconciliation is necessary to raise the morals of workers and remain united to contribute to national development.
Labour movement, especially NLC, need to forge ahead, looking at the challenges confronting Nigerian workers. We must imbibe the spirit of give and take.
It is hoped that the faction will see this and try to understand. Labour is still interested in unity and solidarity.
Similarly, the Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund, NSITF, is partnering with NLC to promote occupational safety and health at workplace, which many employers are not willing to put in place.
The workers to imbibe safety culture. In fact, in some areas, the workers are afraid to come out and talk. So in this area where we have NLC that can go in, talk to their workers, talk to their union members, so that they can shout foul. They can shout where something is going wrong.
Other unions have continued to pay solidarity visit to the newly elected leaders of the NLC. Emmanuel Ayimiro, NTA News.
The kidnapped Emir of Bukuyum in Zamfara State, Muhammad Usman, has been released by his abductors early hours of Wednesday. According to a family source, the Emir was released at Gadar Zaima, a border town between Zamfara and Zuru Emirate of Kebbi State. The Emir has since been reunited with his family. The Emir was kidnapped about 4 days ago. Tolerance and peaceful coexistence among Nigerians, irrespective of tribe or religion, have been identified as major indices for Nigeria to take its rightful place in the Committee of Nations. This came to the fore at the launch of a 110-page book entitled Arise Nigeria. Correspondent Basi Itaipan has the details.
With 50 days prayer and action points, the author Christine Laraba Maxwell says is a guide and solution to the problems faced by Nigerians. She observed that Nigerians need to have a change of mindset and start thinking and acting positively about the country.
It's just about total transformation from the mind and being committed not just to pray for Nigeria but to act right so that Nigeria will get it right.
The book reviewer, who doubled as the chairman of the occasion, retired Air Vice Marshal Robert Ekezie, recalled that Nigeria did not shed blood to gain independence and wondered why bloodshed is the order of the day in the country.
This is only one of the ways we can clean up our home. This is the book. But I know that if Nigeria arises, the green, white, green will produce peace, white, and will produce agricultural foodstuff.
The ceremony featured prayers for a violence-free election and for Nigeria to remain one indivisible nation after the elections. In Abuja, Basi Taipang, NTA News.
You're watching NTA News Extra. When we return, it will be time for news from the world of sports. Join us again.
Hello, Nigerians. I'm Dr. Paul Orhi, DG NAFDAC. I'm proud to serve as a full soldier of the transformational agenda of President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Under his administration, NAFDAC recorded unprecedented success in safeguarding the health of Nigerians. NAFDAC confiscated and destroyed counterfeit medicines worth more than 30 billion naira and secured more than 15 convictions of major counterfeiters of regulated products. In an effort to completely eradicate counterfeit medicines in Nigeria, NAFDAC successfully launched the world's first mobile authentication service that puts the power of detection of counterfeit medicines in the hands of more than 80 million Nigerian cell phone users who can now scratch, text, authenticate their medicines before they buy. Under the United Nations Commission on Life-Saving Commodities for Women and Children, co-chaired by President Goodluck Jonathan, NAFDAC facilitated the local production of 3 out of the 13 life-saving medicines. A lot has been achieved by NAFDAC under President Goodluck Jonathan, and much more is in the pipeline. This is why today I stand firmly with this president. This is why I urge Nigerians to vote wisely, vote continuity of the transformation agenda of President Goodluck Jonathan, vote Jonathan for president.
The power to change Nigeria is in your hands. Now is the time to go out and vote. Vote to Buhari, vote for change. Jade people, if we talk about big changes, so you vote to give Magamba way.
Say no to corruption, no to insecurity, no to unemployment, no to inequality. Vote for Buhari.
During the 2015 general election, slated for 28th March and 11th April 2015, thousands of Nigerians will be serving as election officials. These include youth corps members who will be serving as presiding and assistant presiding officers. Other Nigerians will work as collation officers and returning officers. In addition, many officials of INEC will be in the field supervising elections and providing backup support. Fellow Nigerians, it is our collective duty to protect election officials before, during, and after elections. We should not allow anyone to attack electoral officials. No election official should be injured or made to lose his or her life. Our young youth corps members participating must be protected wherever they're serving. We also wish to make it abundantly clear that security agencies will be present and ready to deal with anybody or group of persons with attempt to foment trouble or compromise the safety and well-being of its officials. This message is from the Independent National Electoral Commission,
supported by the European Union through the UNDP Democratic Governance for Development Project.
INEC, making your vote count, consolidating our democracy.
Fighting corruption through the barrel of a gun and divisive persecution does not work. It didn't work for Buhari 31 years ago and will not work today. Goodluck Jonathan believes stealing is a cancer to Nigeria that must be wiped out. That is why he says we should not glamorize it with a big word like corruption. We must call it what it is. Stealing. Ule. Barawo. He believes the only lasting solution to corruption is to fight the cause as well as the effect through social revolution and judicial accountability. He has eliminated corruption in agriculture, and under his presidency, over 126 cases have been prosecuted and convicted involving stealing. Vote Goodluck Ebele Jonathan for a long-lasting solutions to corruption. A message from Truth Never Dies.
Now let's turn our attention to the foreign scene. Former Liberian President Charles Taylor to continue jail term in United Kingdom prison, and cause of German wings plane crash yet unknown after detecting black box. These are more on Global Tidbits with Ronke Kolawole.
Liberian President Charles Taylor has been ordered to serve the rest of his jail term in the United Kingdom after losing a request to be transferred to Rwanda. In another news, the European Union Foreign Policy Chief says the European Union and Cuba will intensify negotiations aimed at normalizing ties, and projected that the two sides could sign an agreement by the end of 2015. News from China says the country has rejected calls from several foreign governments to free the 5 women rights activists who were arrested early March in the run-up to the country's top political meeting. And a report from France says investigation from the German wings plane crash in which 150 people were killed revealed that usage data was extracted from the cockpit voice recorder, but this has not provided any clue to the cause of the plane crash. For Global Tidbits, Ronke Kolawole, NTA News.
On the sports scene, Nigeria's Super Eagles a few hours ago lost 0-1 to Cranes of Uganda in a friendly match in Uyo. Meanwhile, Nigeria Women Football League fixes date for new season as sailing venue for 2016 Olympics may not be ready with less than 500 days to the competition. Let's join Amanzi Marcus for the details.
The 2014-2015 season of the Nigeria Women League is to kick off on the 2nd of May. The date was decided upon at the close of the 2014 third annual general meeting of the Nigeria Women Football League in Abuja on Tuesday. The objectives and issues bordering on the sustenance and development of the league was the thrust of the meeting.
Our senior national team, the Super Falcons, also went to Namibia to reclaim the African Women Championship for the 7th time.
Reconstruction works are ongoing at the practice pitch of the Abuja National Stadium in order to put the facilities in good condition and ease the burden on the main ball. The Director General of the National Sports Commission, Benga Elegbeleye, and Chairman of the House Committee on Sports, Godfrey Gaya, both inspected ongoing work on Tuesday and expressed satisfaction with what they saw.
See, the grasses, they are looking very green. By June, the very first one should be ready for matches.
We will have 2 comfortable grass pitches. It will go a long way in helping our team prepare, because it's always wrong for them to go to the goal project, which is synthetic, in an attempt to train and possibly end up playing their match in a grass environment.
With 499 days to go until the 2016 Rio Olympics, Rio de Janeiro's Mayor Eduardo Paes has revealed that the much-touted goal of cleaning up the city's blighted waterways for the Games will likely not be made. Paes disclosed that cleaning up Guanabara Bay, the sewage and trash-filled waterway where the Olympic sailing events are to be held, is something that should have been done many years ago. Where the first government programs to clean up the bay dates back to more than 20 years, little progress was made. In Rio's Olympic bid, authorities promised a massive cleanup effort that will be an enduring legacy of the Games, but the officials have continued to insist that the promises will be met and the brackish waters of the bay clean up for the Games. With Sports News Update, Amanzi Marcus, NTA News.
Finally, be safety conscious and dial these emergency numbers in case of security breach. Courtesy, National Security Advisor.
Following numbers: 07057274630, 07057274632, 07057274633, 07057274634, 09096223788, 09096223816, 096303517, 096303520, 096.
That wraps up News Extra for this week. From all of us here, thank you for watching.